All right, hi you guys. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Spagna. My organization or my business is called Ethel's God. It spells dog's life backwards. Because dogs are just mirror images of us, the people in their world, and because I believe there's God in every dog's life. So I'm going to tell you really briefly just a little bit about me, how it is I became a professional psychic, intuitive, and animal communicator, and also how you guys can start working with your animals right away to communicate with them, how you can learn more about what I do, and how it applies to humans, and why it's so valuable for us in our lives to understand the language of animals, which I call speak wolf. So just a little bit about me. I really grew up in corporate America, and I was one of those people I lovingly called myself, well, at the time it wasn't really so lovingly, a good slave. And I was a person who would go to corporate America every day, my job in corporate America, sitting behind a desk, working really hard until 11 o'clock every night, 12, 13 hours a day, and I didn't have time for my own animal companions, and I would cry at the end of every night. How do I be of service to animals on a global scale? That was my mantra. And I didn't really know what I was asking for. I kind of just thought I was going to be a really great dog trainer. That was what I wanted to do. And my ego self, my personality self, wouldn't really allow it because I thought, dog trainer. I can't be a dog trainer. I'm in a six-figure job as a, executive VP, But the point was, really, I knew that was my calling, and so I was trying to find what I could do. And the other mantra kind of that I had running in my mind was I didn't really like corporate society. I felt like it was a trapped enslavement for me personally. So I kept asking, how can I make God my boss? How can I make God my boss? And then I had another, on my own spiritual journey, I had a kind of personal mantra that went something like this. It went, I want the truth no matter what. I want the truth no matter what, and I don't care what it takes. So after my whole career of asking for this, finally, what happened was my brother died unexpectedly, and I started hearing him in my head. It was an accidental drug overdose, and I now realize that it was his divine contract to wake me up. So when I started saying this to my husband at the time, I think I'm hearing my dead brother in my ear. My ex-husband was like, whoa. I didn't sign up for this. Psychic, sorry. Dead people alive, no. And he checked out, which really propelled me forward. So I took off and went to Maui. And I lived in Maui for 2 years, pretty much by myself. I didn't really have very much contact at all with normal, everyday civilization that we would associate with in Los Angeles. And that took me through a radical shift in consciousness. And I was playing with these really alternate realities, which you learn about in places like this at the Conscious Life Expo, right? Mm-hmm. So, yes. So, with that's pretty much how I started getting into animal communication and started working with these things that I do, like psychic communication. I also work in a lot of alternative healing practices, like theta healing, if you know what that is.
We know.
Yes, yes. And Reiki, I'm sure most of you know what Reiki is, and all kinds of energy healing. I'm an Akashic Records practitioner. So I read the Akashic Records for pets and for people. And I also teach people how to empower themselves to tap into these gifts, because they are all our gifts. We all have them. We all can use them. We just have sort of been separated from them for a really long time. And now, if you know about 2012, I'm sure if you don't, you're hearing about it this weekend, it's really just about the rebirth of us, the reckoning of who we truly are, which is what's the truth of who we all are. Anyone want to venture a guess? Yeah! There's God running through us. The energy of every single thing, and the beauty of what's going on right now is with quantum physics, we can explain it all scientifically. So even the scientist's mind can't really disagree with it. It's like, okay, well, you can define it as the world of vibrational energy that's running in and through everyone, or you can call it the bliss state of God that is just knowing, the knowingness that we're all one. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Right? You say potato, I say potato. The point here is that once we start learning how to tap into this vibration and this energy, which is a universal, all-knowing, loving force, we can heal ourselves, we can talk to animals, we can talk to one another, telepathy. We can do all kinds of energy work, clearing out energy blocks. Amazing things are possible for us, and this is what lies ahead of 2012. It's nothing to be scared of. It's something to embrace. So, with that, how many of you are pet parents? I assume you probably all are. Awesome! So you guys are all going to find out about how you can go home tonight to talk to your own animal companions. How many of you are already talking to your animal companions? How many of you are listening to your animal companions? Okay, good. How many of you are actually receiving messages from your animal companions? Oh, I love that. So fantastic. So everybody's already really learning about it and practicing it. So my intention is, before the end of the time, and you will see me looking at my clock, but that's only so that I can keep track of my time because I talk a lot. Once you get me started, I might never stop. I want to do some readings for people, little mini readings if you have questions. But we'll do that towards the end, okay? So first, for those of you, is anyone who is classically trained in animal communication and classically using it as a professional in some capacity or in their career work or, yeah, okay. So what I want to do is give you a little overview of really how it works and why we know it works. And then we'll talk about how you can start using it. And then we'll do some of the little spot-on meetings right here where you can just ask me a question and we'll see how that goes, okay? So, and here's the one thing too. I love, love, love questions. So if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask, because this is a thing we know. We have universal brain wave. We're all connected, so if it's in your mind, it's in someone else's. Okay? All right, cool. And it makes it more fun. So, okay. So first of all, who knows how it works? Does anybody in the room know how it works? Do you want to?
It's mostly about pictures and the intent behind the pictures.
Yes, awesome. That is a huge way of how it works. Anyone else? There's other ways? Okay. So pictures is one way. So the way we would explain it scientifically, and I really like to explain this scientifically because we humans, we doubt. We've been trained, classically trained, to doubt things, to question things, to want real validation. So, okay, I'll play that game. I can give the scientific evidence behind it. So we have 5 brain waves, an alpha, a beta, a gamma, a delta, and a theta. They all do something different. Who knows what delta is? Sleep. Who knows what alpha is? Relax. If you're in front of the TV, vegging out, and your alpha brainwave will always say yes. If something comes on that TV that says, are you depressed? Your brainwave's going to go yes. So pay attention to what you're watching and how you're watching it. Okay, that's your alpha. Who knows what the beta is? Beta is what I'm doing right now, what we're all doing, awake and aware and alert. Delta, sleep time, I think I said that. Gamma, high-level learning, very high functioning. Most of us aren't really using that actively. And then there's the theta, bliss state. Theta is connection to universal intelligence. So it's an actual brainwave. Our animals are already there. So we have to learn how to access our theta brainwave. I teach people how to do that. A lot of times when I do presentations here, I do that. And by the way, one of the things I do, I just want to invite all of you. You can pick up the flyers here. But this Thursday night, I have a manifestation and healing circle in West LA. Okay, well, the flyers are here. So you can get one if you want to come. And if you say that you were here at this presentation, you can bring a friend for free. So it's this Thursday night. You can learn how to access your theta brainwave. And we do manifestation and healing. It's powerful stuff. So really fun and amazing. So theta brainwave, that's one way animals are communicating, and that's how telepathy, that's a lot of the ways psychics do it. That's one way psychics access information from source, because it's a universal brainwave that connects every brain to every other brain. It connects us to universal intelligence, awareness, and knowledge, and wisdom. Okay, another way. Does anyone know any other ways? Yes, okay, that's happening through your thymus. Thymus is a sensory gland. It senses energy. Do you know, by the way, our skin eats. Our skin is what hears and feels and senses. So you're receiving information through your skin. You're feeling it, right? We all are, all the time. It's just most of us, because we're so busy moving through our day, we're not really paying attention to it. We're numbing out, right? Okay, so our animals are using that sensing, feeling through the thymus. We also have, what's this called? The third eye, right? Pineal pituitary gland. Real. Sensory glands in the center of the brain. They're sensing information. So if we're all busy trying to figure out where's my next dinner coming from, where's my next paycheck, how am I going to make up with my mom, oh, my boyfriend's pissed at me. You know, we're going through this reality. Who's checking in with their pineal? Nobody, right? But the animals don't have to figure that stuff out. They're just laying there. They're like, whoa, life's good. Oh, man, it smells like dinner's in the kitchen. Where's the next walk? I'm ready to go. Oh, my God, I hear the sound of keys. We're going out. Yes. Right? So that's how this is all happening, right? That's how animals communicate. They're using those parts of their bodies. So it's real and it's valid, and then it just becomes a question of, as an animal communicator, I'm a translator. And as, by the way, is there any black in my eyes? I hope not. I know that's totally not cool, but I didn't. And when I get like really hyper, you know? Okay, so the thing that I was just saying is that they're not really tuned out from it, so they're already checked in on that all the time. Now, what's the other thing I was going to say? I just lost my train of thought because of the makeup.
Translator. You're a translator?
Oh yeah, thank you. Okay, so as an animal communicator then, we're using these parts of our body that I just talked about, and we are trained to tap into them. And then we become translators. So whether you're working with an effective translator or an ineffective translator, because psychics, we have like a lot of woo-woo stuff out there, right? And that's what kind of gives psychics a bad name for a lot of psychics, because there's fakes and phonies, but you got lousy doctors too. And anyone who really thinks science is scientific, I mean, I think we know these days, like there's a lot of slanted science out there. So, you know, not double-blind studies and things like that. I mean, you guys can do the research on it. I'm sure lots of you have. So the point is the animal communicator or the psychic, for, you know, that you're working with, an effective translator of the information that they're receiving through these methods? I happen to think I'm an awesome translator. So a lot of times as an animal communicator, I might translate something that means nothing to me. Like, I'll give you a really simple thing. I might see a yellow ball. Yellow ball doesn't necessarily mean anything to me, but maybe it was that dog's favorite ball, and he held on to that, you know, ball every day. And then it means something to you. Or I might see a blue bed, or, you know, I'm just giving examples. Make sense? Yeah? Does anyone have any questions on any of this so far? No? Okay. All right, so now the other thing that's amazing about animal communication here that's really important to understand is humans, as far as I know, are the only animals on the planet, we're animals, who are predominantly left-brained. So what does the left brain do? Who knows?
Logic.
Logic, yes. Thinking, analyzing, figuring it out. All the other animals on this planet, except for the great apes, to the best of my knowledge, are right-brained. What does the right brain do? What's that? Yeah, it's like the feeling, sensing part of the brain. It's like, oh, I feel this. It feels good. It goes like this. Feels good, yes. Feels bad. It's like fight or flight sometimes. It's like the non-thinking brain. It just knows. It just knows. So this is where your animals are residing. They're in the knowing. They know we can't figure out. They already know what we're trying to figure out. Isn't that amazing? That's so amazing. So we've been walking around thinking we're the smartest ones on the planet. We think we're so smart, right? We figure everything out. They already knew it a long time ago. They're so smarter than us. So, okay, so here's the thing now. Oh, by the way, let me just say about the great apes. They're the ones who use both hemispheres pretty equally. This is to the best of my knowledge. So in the research I've done, somebody could disclaim that, but I think I'm pretty sure that's pretty accurate. That's true. So it may even be that they're pretty kind of like further ahead of us in evolution in some way. So, okay, so with that said, now let's go to the next thing. We know scientifically that everything is energy, right? We can all agree on that, right? So your dollars are energy. You know those dollars that everybody's so afraid of on the planet right now? Like, is anybody waking up in the morning going, okay, well, I know there's a lot of chemicals in the air, but is anybody waking up going, how am I going to get my next breath? How am I going to get my next breath? Where's my next breath going to come from? No. But that's really what your dollars are. So, okay, that's a whole other conversation. We don't need to go there now. But the point is, everything's energy. And if we start learning about energy and how it works and how to tap into that energy, then we start using it for ourselves in all kinds of magnificent ways, like creating abundance and prosperity. But here's the thing. If you're walking around and your body and your mind and your thoughts are one big energy ball, which they are, What kind of energy are you carrying around with you? Are you carrying stress energy, anxiety, worry, frustration, doubt? What happens to that energy? It moves really slow. Or are you carrying joy, happiness, health, wealth, abundance? That energy moves fast, right? That makes sense to everybody? Yeah. So if you're moving at a really high frequency, because we know everything's energy, and we know scientifically if everything's energy, there's different vibrational movements of this energy. So some of this energy is moving really fast, and some of it's moving really slow. So if it's moving really fast, it's going to be high vibrational stuff that we associate with these things: joy, happiness, health, well-being, prosperity, abundance. And if we're moving really slow, it's going to be fear, worry, doubt, anxiety, frustration, shame. So what does it have to do with our animals? Does anyone know?
Find out their attracted to?
Yes. Well, they're sharing our field. Our field of energy. They live in our house. Okay? But here's the thing. They know what we don't know. They know how to read energy. So if you're stressed out, which a lot of people on the planet right now are, understandably, a lot of stuff going on. If you're stressed out, you're carrying that energy of stress and anxiety with you, and tension and worry and doubt, and all of these things turn into physical dis-ease. Dis-ease. Your animal's going to absorb it for you on some level as a gift to you, to mirror it back at you so that you can change and adjust accordingly. And the reason they do this, here's the beauty, the magnificence of our animals. They know that us humans, because we're so left-brain oriented, we think we're so smart, that sometimes the only one we can hear it from or get it from is them. Because like we become know-it-alls, don't we? I remember a time in Maui when I would say I first kind of got, okay, this isn't really true, but I thought I'd gotten enlightened. I got to that moment where it's like, oh my God, I'm not here. This is a dream. This is a dream. We're in the dream. So I was like, oh my God. I had this shift of my perspective. And suddenly I was like, I know everything. I became a know-it-all. I became unteachable. It was like my greatest success and my greatest failure. Like the moment we become unteachable, what good was that? I had to like relearn that I was a new student, which I am. I try to remain a perpetual student. But so the thing is, the animals, they pick up this energy, they mirror it back at us, and because they never are moved in, they never are in that state of I know it all. And because we sometimes do get into that state of, yeah, I know that, on to the next, we are able to receive it from them because we love them so much. Who's in this room that wouldn't do anything for their animal companion? Is there? Yeah. Like, I'm that kind of parent. I find myself, by the way, I don't say owner, because you can't own a living being, right? Yeah. So we're guardians or we're companions. They're our companions or we're their parents. If you ask any animal in communication, by the way, they'll tell you that they own you. And the truth is they do, because you're working for them. You're putting their food on the table, you're walking them, you're getting them to the vet. They don't have to do anything, right? Okay. So with that, let's just check on my time. Okay, good. So if they're mirroring back stuff about us that we need to learn about ourselves, and they're doing this as a gift to us, especially for those of us who have companions that we are so deeply bonded to, and that becomes one of those times where we can literally receive what we can't hear from anyone else. The thing about our animals is they know our secrets. They know the things we won't tell our best friend, our partner, or sometimes, a lot of times, even ourselves. Right? So in this way, they become our greatest teachers, and our greatest advocates, and our greatest allies. And they teach us the most amazing things. Not just about ourselves, but about how to function in reality, how to navigate through this life, how to love better. I mean, everybody knows animal companions are teaching us about unconditional love, right? I mean, that's what every animal person says. Oh, they teach me about love, they're so loving. They're joy in a body. They're love in a body, right? Okay. Okay, so now the other thing about the animals, so beautiful, they have certain contracts and agreements. By the way, I'm on an animal communication panel tomorrow at 4:30. So if you're able to attend that, I'll be on that panel with a couple of other animal communicators, a fantastic holistic veterinarian. So definitely check that out. It's 4:30. So the thing about the animals also is they have certain sacred oaths, vows, and agreements. Now we also know this scientifically. There are an infinite number of parallel universes, dimensions, going on all at the same time, right now. In fact, time's not real. Who's noticing time speeding up? Isn't that fun? I asked the Akashic Records about that. Okay, the Akashic Records are like the records of all time for any unique individual soul. So I asked the Akashic Records, what's the story? You're taking away my prized time. You're taking away time from me. I don't have time anymore. And they said, we're giving you eternity. That's amazing, right? So you can find out the Akashic Records about your animal companion, about you, about your house, everything. So, okay, getting back to the point. We have an infinite number of parallel universes going on at the same time. And you, as a soul, as your animal companions as well, exist in those. This is what past lives are. They're not really past lives, they're happening right now, because all time happens in this moment. The linear experience of time, yesterday, today, tomorrow, that's an illusion, which we're all going to wake up to this year, trust me. If you're not already realizing time's speeding up, you're going to. So just go with the flow on that one. So the thing is, if you want to know about how you're bonded with your animal, chances are you're connected with your animal in another dimension, a parallel reality, past life. Yeah, it's a trip, right? Yeah. So here's the most magnificent thing. Animals come to us in usually one of three ways. Usually they overlap. But it depends. If they're wild animals, they won't overlap. But all the animals, one of three ways. Who knows what they are? Anybody? Okay, well, companions. They just come here, they have a good time. They're animal companions, or they're animals in the wild. They come here, they have an experience. They're on their soul's journey just like all of us are, right? Then another way is they come as teachers. Teachers come to the really smart ones. They also come to the ones who really want to make a lot of progress in their evolutionary path in their lifetime. Those are the teacher animals. Then we have animals that come to us who are healers, and they heal us. They heal our emotional pain, our traumas, our dramas, our sorrows, our physical pain. And they do this by choice, you know. Now, a lot of times, obviously, the companions can overlap in those areas. So the question is, which one is your animal companion? Who knows they have a teacher animal? Yeah, you definitely do. No, you do. You do too. So I have a most amazing teacher animal story, and I want to share that with you. When I think I was somewhere around the age of 30. This was about 15 years ago. 16 years ago. I rescued a dog. I named her Kenya from South Central LA, the animal rescue organization in South Central LA, or the Pound. And I went there with the intention. Remember, intention, really important in this world. I could spend a whole hour on just on intention. I went there with the intention of saving an animal's life. That was my thing. I wanted to save animals. I wanted to rescue animals. Turns out, actually, Kenya rescued me, right? Because I was the one who needed rescuing, right? So I rescued her, and I brought her to the vet within 2 days. And, you know, as they tell you to, and this dog, the vet says this dog has parvo. Bring her back. Bring her back? Bring her back? I don't get it. What? I don't get it. Well, you know, get a new one. What? This is the dog. You know, this is the dog I committed to. This is the dog I rescued. Well, it's going to cost, you know, in those days they really didn't know how to help parvo. Do you guys know what parvo is?
Yeah.
It's like AIDS in dogs, kind of. It's a blood virus, an immunity virus. And it basically can kill them. So anyway, you know, a lot of money and a lot of time and energy later, she lived with me as my teacher dog for 13 years. And she taught me everything that I know about animal communication, really, most of it. And she used to ask me, can you do this? Kenya? Her name was Kenya. I never knew that was. So here's the funny thing. Sometimes that's one way that psychics can learn, because psychics, we start to learn about how the dots are connected, how things are connected. And everything has a vibration. Names have a vibration. Energy is, we know about this, right? You guys know about the vibration and energy and kinesiology? Hold out your arm, it's right there. Say your name really, say your name and hold your arm as strong as you can.
Jamie.
My name is Jamie.
My name is Jamie.
Yeah. You want to say my name is Harry?
My name is Harry.
Yeah. Because the truth is going to make you stronger and the lie is going to make you weaker, right? So that's all vibration. So the animals are teaching us that stuff. So anyway, this is Kenya, my teacher dog. So when she left her body, we were in Maui, her time with me was done. She had completed her contract with me up until that point, and I held her in my arms. This is more what we'll talk about tomorrow on the panel, animals in the afterlife and how they help us. But I watched her. She walked me through it in her crossing, and I watched the light leave her body. I saw it. And my other dog in the room, Kiko, who's with me at the booth, she got up on all fours. I call her my psychic dog. Got up on all fours and watched the light leave Kenya's body. So this is why I know. For me, it's not even, does it work? Is it real? No, it's real. It's real. This is real stuff. So the body might die, but the being never does. So we can connect with our animals in the afterlife too. So, and they teach us about death and how to embrace that. And oh, you're so beautiful there. No, that's beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful than a person in their real honesty, authenticity. So beautiful. So they teach us about ourselves, and they teach us how to say goodbye without realizing that we never have to say goodbye. We really don't. Kenya is still with me. Really, so alive still. So with that, I'm going to give you some. Does anyone have any questions on any of that? You good, we're good on time. Yes?
How do you know she's
Oh my God. Okay, well, the question was, how do you know she's with you? So I'm sure there's people in the room who have animals who have crossed. Yeah? And some of you want to connect with them, or maybe a lot of you do. So here, go home in a very, very humble way. Like, get your ego out of it. I can feel energy, sadness there. Okay, it's all right. So you go home and you just do a humble prayer. You light a candle, right, that you're really connecting on a soul level, and you say this animal's name 3 times. What's the animal's name? Stella. Connected through past lives, both of you. Many connections. Soul journey together, we'll meet again. Promise we'll meet again.
She just died Thursday.
Yes, I know.
Open heart surgery.
Sorry, sadness. So much sadness.
8 weeks.
Yeah, I can feel that.
So
But
much
she'll be back.
teaching.
She'll be back when you're ready. I don't always say that to people. She'll be back when you're ready.
Good teacher.
Yes. Good.
The dog is good
Yes,
teacher.
good teacher.
And
Teaching you.
over her
You should
shoulder
try to do that
with
for
this emotion, taking it out.
Yes. Healing you.
Yeah.
So, okay, go home. You're still raw on this one. You're probably not quite ready.
12 hours before another dog of mine died.
Yeah, you got some stuff going on there.
It was an
So-
old dog. I do rescues, so these are my rescues.
Yeah. It is heart-wrenching, right? There's an amazing famous poem by, I can't remember who it was. Maybe some of you will know. That one. But no, this one, it says, never fall in love with the dog because it'll kill you when it dies. The famous author wrote that. Hawthorne, maybe? I don't remember. But anyway, never fall in love with a dog because it'll kill you when it dies. But, okay, so when you're ready, because you're so raw, and it's harder to connect with them when you're so raw because that energy gets in the way. But when you're ready, you say the animal's name 3 times, really humbly, and just say, please, show me a sign that you're with me. That's how you know that they're still with you. Because then you can ask for a sign that was relevant. For example, on the day that Kenya died, there was a flower that we had, a lily, a purple lily in the living room, and purple, that was our color. And that week, I was walking down the street, and there was just these purple lilies coming out, purple flowers everywhere. So you can ask for a sign. Does that help? Okay. All right. Any other questions? Yeah.
Is there a way to tell when an animal is in transition, they're passing, to tell if they're in pain
Yes.
or not? How would you do that?
So in that case, you would want to work with a very experienced animal communicator who's really good at feeling the energy that the body of that animal is feeling. Because in that case, the animal communicator is tapping into that energy and literally allowing her body be a conduit, a translator, to feel what that animal's feeling. So this is some of the stuff I go into when I'm doing the training, because I train other people to be animal communicators. I have an learn animal communication course coming up in the beginning of March. One's by teleseminar and one's in person. But it becomes making your body really neutral, knowing the difference. You're using things called body scans, knowing the difference between what's going on in your body and feeling someone else's body. And that is clairsentience. So there's 5 clairs. Clairsentience, that's feeling. Clairaudience, hearing. Claircognizance, that's knowing. Clairvoyance, that's what you were talking about, seeing. What's the next one I'm missing? Audience, sentience, voyance, cognizance.
Kinesthetic.
Sentience. Did I say that one? Feeling. Okay, well, maybe it's just 4 numbers-wise. But anyway, those are the main ones. And if there's another one, it'll come back into my head. So anyway, this is what I teach people, but that's how you do that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, or yeah, you're not sure?
No, well, there's some other issues. Another thing along that line, do you need to be there with a cat when they die to make sure the spirit's okay, gone, crossed over, or not?
Okay, so the crossing over process. So, because I'm not going to, that's a whole big conversation, but we can definitely go into that.
Do you need to be there at the time of death for a cat?
Sorry?
Do you need to be there at the time? I work with energy too.
You don't need to be there. I mean, these animals know how to cross, and just like us, we all have angels, helpers, healers, guides, guardians around us. You have angels in your field. And by the way, I'll get to you in a second.
Just answer the question.
By the way, the scientific community will call it electromagnetic particles of light with innate intelligence. All right, well, I call them angels. I mean, they help me. When I ask them for help, they help me. So your animals have angels, helpers, healers, guides, guardians as well. And there's certain angels that really do specifically work with animals. So they help in the crossing process. There's archangels who do this, and they help them with that. So you don't have to be there at the time necessarily. There's all kinds of divine contracts. This stuff is all written into the DNA. That's what the DNA is. It's the wisdom of that being, of what's meant to happen for them in their life and throughout their lifetimes, their whole ancestry. So, no, you don't have to be there. Can you be there? Yes. Can you assist? But this kind of stuff happens in timing. Now, and I have a whole double audio CD, an ebook, and this one doesn't have a workbook, on animals in the afterlife and what happens during the process, before, during, after the crossing, and how that all plays together. So it's a whole big conversation in and of its own. I also do a workshop on that, teaching people about it. So I hope that helped a little bit. Okay, so I want to give you some things on how you can start communicating yourselves right away. But there was one other thing I really wanted to go into right before. What was it? Okay, slipping my mind. All right, so somebody bring up a behavior. Oh, by the way, I would like to say that when I do my work with animals, I don't just address the animal issue. In terms of the work I do, it's totally holistic. When I say holistic, it's because, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to say, the answer to your question is no, you don't need to be there. I had, when I put my cat to sleep, my friend was in Washington, D.C., and we both felt the soul release at the same time.
Yeah, beautiful, because it travels through all dimensions.
And she described it. Neither of us had felt anything like that before. She described it back to me. It was exactly what I felt in the room with it.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Thanks. Okay. Okay, so when I work with people and their dogs or cats or pigs or rabbits or horses or whatever it is, I'm working with from a holistic approach. So it's not just, right now in our world we address everything in a unilateral approach. It's like a physical reality, as if we don't have other aspects of our being. Like, we have so many aspects of who we are. We have a thought, intellectual aspect of us, a mental aspect. We have an emotional aspect. We have an energetic aspect, an auric aspect. That's when people talk about your light, your aura. You have a physical aspect. I mean, you have a soul aspect. I mean, who is in there, in that body? Like, you're not your body, right? You're not your body. Your body is your body. You are the being in your body. You're not even your brain. your mind and your brain are not the same thing. Your mind is, well, what's your mind? So all these are all aspects of you, right? You're the thing observing the thoughts in the mind, which are in the brain, we think, right? That goes into a whole other thing. But the point is, a holistic approach is addressing all of those aspects of us. And a physical approach is just like what happens after all the other aspects have been ignored. So if you've got physical things going on with your animal companion, it means you've been not paying attention to all the other signs that were coming through all along the way. So that's why this kind of work is so critical to understand and to learn, because it really, you get to it before it starts showing up as cancer, disease, discomfort, all these problems. So if you're addressing it earlier, it doesn't have to come to that low vibration. Make sense to everybody? So this is part of how I work. When I work with my clients, it's not just about the animals. And by the way, I have lots of clients who don't have animals because the human body is an animal as well, right? So we're addressing these emotional issues, physical issues, spiritual issues, intellectual issues, behavioral issues, because sometimes it's like, hey, can you tune in for me as my psychic and just tell me how do I deal with this problem with my boss, my landlord, my neighbor, my best friend, right? All that stuff. Okay. All right, so I want to give you a couple of samples, then I'm going to get into telling you what you can do and giving you some little mini readings. I once worked with an animal, as one of my favorite examples, when I was in Maui, a horse that was on another island. He was on Oahu. I never met the horse in person. I only had a picture. I never met the parent or guardian of the horse. So I look at the picture, I'm working on the reading, and the horse keeps saying, this is what I'm getting, go below the knee, go below the knee. And I keep hearing, I'm stumped, I'm stumped. And I thought the I'm stumped was my thought. So I go back to the guardian, and I'm like, okay, I don't really know like why I'm getting this. I'm not getting anything except go below the knee, and I'm stumped. And the guardian of the horse says, yes, we had to amputate below the knee. I'm like, okay, don't tell me anything else. Let me go back. Like, this is the juicy one, This is a good one. So I go back to the horse, and this is what I get from the horse. There's bad people around me. They want to kill me. I want to live. Tell them to go away. And oh, by the way, I want some carrots. So I go back, and the parent of the horse is like, yes, that's exactly, we were trying to decide, should we euthanize the horse? We didn't know what was right to do. Now you told us we're going to keep the horse alive, we're going to get it a prosthetic, which they did, and to the best of my knowledge, that horse is still alive in Maui. In Oahu. Isn't that amazing? These are the kinds of things, right? And I've worked with animals. I had one recent client, this is a good one. I had a client who had 2 dogs for 2 years in diapers. Could not, worked with every behavioral trainer. And by the way, I do behavioral training. I teach other people how to do spiritual behavioral training. I have it's called the Spiritual Behavioral Training Master's Program. So she had these 2 dogs for 2 years. The guy who trained me in behavioral training spent 20 years training government service dogs. 1,000 people applied to work for him. 6 of us were selected. 2 were gone in the first month. Really intensive program. So anyway, this client, 2 dogs in diapers for 2 years, had done all kinds of behavioral training, couldn't get the dogs out of the diapers. They were eliminating inappropriately. One animal communication session, they both went outside. Never had the problem again. I have this with cats a lot too. So the thing with her, I'll tell you, I don't mind telling you, I can tell you this is, she wanted babies. That's why she got them. And when she was ready to progress them to nursery school or kindergarten, what happens when kids go to nursery school and kindergarten? They have to leave those diapers behind, right? So once she realized what she had to change in her thinking, and she got the message, the dogs were like, oh, okay, we can do that. Easy. Pretty easy, right? Another client, the dog was going back and forth to the vet years and years, doing all kinds of pricks on the dog, cuts because of skin allergies, testing, allergies. The dog, I got to the point where it wouldn't come out because he didn't want to go to the vet anymore. Wasn't willing to be touched or be around them because he felt like he was invaded. So we do an animal communication session. We get it through to the human. This dog doesn't want you to touch. I do some holistic work, talk about holistic health care for animals. By the way, the oldest dog on record that I know of lived till 30. Who's feeding their dog dry food? Cat dry food, yeah, okay. Well, I don't want to shame anyone because that's not the point, but it's like we need to be doing like healthier food for ourselves and our animals. They teach about that stuff too. But the point is our animals and we can live much stronger, healthier lives when we start changing our foods, right? That's part of the holistic approach. But so this animal, after an hour and a half session, the animal got it, that the human got it. The animal was reassured. I reassured the animal, we're not going to do that anymore. We're doing a different approach. You're not going to keep getting pricked and tested. We know what's going on. We tuned in energetically. Within a month, the animal's skin started to clear up. Years of going back and forth to the vet. Thousands of dollars. So I'm not saying don't go to vets. I'm just saying, lots of times this is one of the ways. Imagine if you're a pet. Does anyone work in a professional capacity with animals in the room? Yeah. Okay, so imagine if you can help animals with behavioral issues. You can help animals that are scared on grooming tables, animals that are fighting in dog parks, animals that are stressed out in their service animals. Imagine you being able to communicate with them and just get them on board because you're like, hey, this is what we're doing. So here's how you can start communicating with animals even tonight, even with your animal companions. One of the best ways. You just start talking to them. But I mean, not talking to them like, why do you have to do that? Or why do you do that? Or get over there, or sit. I mean, what's your dog doing when he's not sitting, right? The other 24 hours of the day, 23 hours and 57 minutes, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, what good is command work? Because if you're just commanding your dog, sit, stay down, come heel, it's like, what's he doing the rest of the day? Okay, so start talking to your dog. So it'll look like this. You'll talk to them in a way similar to the way the president might address his staff. Because your animals, cat, dog, rabbit, doesn't matter, bird, they understand, remember, energy and vibration. So if the energy of your words is bird, name of bird, Jerry, whatever, when you pluck at your feathers like that, it really stresses me out. Because I don't know what to do to help you. And I really love you so much, I want you to be healthy. So could you please stop doing that? And I promise I will pay more attention to whatever it is you're wanting me to understand and know. And then we can live in a less stressful environment. Now, your animals understand, not only do they understand the vibration and the energy of your words, they understand something that humans don't seem to get. See, we don't seem to get that when you dump chemicals on the planet from airplanes, it poisons our food system. We don't seem to understand cause and effect. We don't seem to understand that when you scream at your neighbor, that stress in your environment, that anger, radiates back at you. It's a universal law of radiation. I have a CD on the universal laws. That's karma, right? Oh, I wanted to say, that was the other thing I wanted to say, the karma laws. Okay, see if I can remember that. So, we don't seem to understand cause and effect. We don't understand the universal laws. What you send out comes back to you. You steal from someone else, you're going to get stolen from. Right? So the animals understand cause and effect. So when you talk to your animals tonight, you can say to your cat, who's got a cat in the room who's peeing inappropriately? Okay, who's got a cat with a problem? Okay, you do. Okay, so cat with a peeing inappropriately. You say to the cat, the cat's name is?
Aurora.
Aurora. She's a prima donna.
She's not even my cat, I'm just taking care of her.
Well, she wants to be paid attention to. She's pissed off. Okay. You say, Aurora, when you're peeing on the bed like that or wherever, it's really creating a very unpleasant environment for us. I would really prefer, when you create an unpleasant environment for us, that creates stress in the household. We all get stressed and unhappy. It would be much nicer if you could pee appropriately in the litter box. And then you could bring in a little visual in your mind of that litter box. You just projected at her. And then we'll all be happier. And I promise I will do better to pay attention to whatever it is you want me to know. That becomes a whole other thing. But then you have to start living up to your agreement. But this will start affecting your animals right away because they understand the energy and the vibration of the words that you're saying. If you do flash an image, if you're able to use your clairvoyance, we're all clairvoyants. We're all psychics here. There's no non-psychics in the room here. It's just some of us are tuned in more than others. Some of us are clearer than others. Some of us are practicing more than others. So anyway, you can flash an image to your animal of what you want, if you can do that, and then you pay attention to that animal. Because, trust me, when an animal's eliminating inappropriately in the house, especially with the cats, and they know better, it's because they want your attention. They're pissed off.
I mean, she like peed on my meditation mat. Like, I mean, like, I was like...
Well, maybe really what it is
I
for
was
you
like,
is...
Are you kidding?
No, this is what it is
What
for you.
is that?
Well, I'll tell you
I
right
mean,
now.
you're not even my cat.
No, but this is what it is. No. That cat's giving you a gift. The universe wants to really know, are you really serious? Can you really stay in that zone? You're just getting tested. Right? Universe wants to know. You
I thought
serious?
the universe wanted to know if the dry cleaner could get out the smell of the cat
I don't
piss.
think the universe cares about that. Okay. All right, so this will help you guys right away. Let's do some specifics.
What about a cat that, I have a cat that's fairly new that I adopted. He doesn't get along with the other cats. He's hissing and snarling, and he doesn't seem to want any kind of friendly contact
Right.
with them. What's going on?
Yeah, what's his name?
He doesn't really have one at this point. I just adopted him.
Okay, I know. I'll tell you what's going on. The other cats have not embraced him in their tribe, in their pride, right? It's written into your cat that the genetic lineage of your cat, of all cats, is that they come from prides, wild cats. So they still function that way. That's written into their DNA, just like dogs are functioning from wolves, right? That's why I call it wolf speak. It's written into the DNA. That's their perspective. It's not the human perspective. So this animal has not been welcomed by the group dynamic, and so he's defending himself. He's the odd man out. So you need to make a choice. Are we going to keep this animal in our group dynamic and embrace him, or are we going to rehome him? Either way, you need to go home to this animal and say, animal, give him a name.
He has a couple, but...
Okay. Choose one because that's going to let him become part of the pack. Sorry, not pack, pride in this case. Animal, cat, we're embracing you in our family. And we don't exactly know what's going on, but while you're here, we want you to feel safe and comfortable. Then you really have to address the other ones because they don't have confidence issues right now. See, they know that it's their home. They don't have to defend themselves. So you say to them, you guys, we've got a visitor here. He's a guest. We don't know how long he's staying. But while he's here, we're going to be polite and respectful to him because that's the way we behave. Polite and respectful to one another. That's the way us humans have to learn, right? Because really, there's no difference between us and some human in Iran or Iraq sitting there trying to figure out how to put food on his table and feed his family. This is enough of this crap.
Just as an aside, he's a Siamese, and I lost the Siamese before him. I had to put him to sleep. He was very sick. This cat looks exactly like him. It's like they re-erected him from the grave.
Oh, so he doesn't have a name. What was the old cat's name, the first one?
Sweetie Pie. This is not Sweetie Pie. This is the people that had him before.
Different vibration.
Called him
Different
Monster.
vibration.
If you can believe that. The people that originally had him called him Monster. I couldn't believe it.
You come down afterwards. Come down to my booth. My booth is 97.
Okay.
It's Ethel's God. It's my business. It spells dog's life backwards. There's a big banner up that says Ethel's God. It's got my picture. So come down afterwards, and we can. I'm going to be doing readings at my booth over the weekend. So definitely, because we could spend a whole hour on this. I could give you a lot more. Okay.
Can you can you talk to a very young dog, big dog, like with an adult, or you have to talk like a baby?
No.
No.
If you're
like
talking to the dog like he's a big look, your animals are functioning in one of 8, especially wolves, dogs. Because you're asking about dogs. One of 8 capacities. If humans could learn this, we'd be so much better off. There's only 8 things they ever do. They sleep, they pee and they poop, they eliminate. They move. They have love time and love time. They have rest and lounge around time. They have food time. They have hunt and exercise time. And they have adventures. And they have work time. And then in between every one of those, they move from one to the next. The leader is the one who moves them. So your dogs, when they're in love time, that's when you can be like, oh, Cookie, just come with me. I just love you so much. That's love time. But you know what? If you go to work time and you start doing that, your boss is going to fire you. Like if you go, boss, so you love me, boss. No, so your dog's not going to get it either. Your dog's going to be like, whoa, this lady does not know how to be a leader. I'm going to have to compensate here. That's going to create stress for the dog. So that's part of behavioral work. That's part of what I do too. But
Thank you.
it becomes really you knowing appropriate. What's appropriate when? That helps you. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 rescue dogs. The second one, he's crazy, needy, wants attention all the time. And he's like up in your face.
What is the 2 dogs' names? First dog?
Rolly.
Rolly? Second dog?
Timmy.
Do I know you?
No.
You look so familiar. Okay. Okay. Oh yes, Timmy is very needy. I can see. Okay. So the thing with Timmy, you have to help Timmy grow up, because he will be a perpetual needy baby. It's in his energy field. So if we're working with energy, you understand, you can shift any energy. We know this from Einstein. Energy is in perpetual motion. It never stops. So your dog Timmy has an energy that he's carrying in his field. It is through other lifetimes that is vibrating at this needy energy, but you can clear it. He needs to work with the energy. You can do it behaviorally. You can do it through communication. You should do a holistic approach. Right? I hope that helps.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a Jack Russell that's 12 years old, and she tends, like when people come to approach her, they'll pet her, give her loving, and she'll tend to growl at her.
Yes. I'll tell you what. First of all, I love people. They see animals and they're like, oh, I love you, I want to pet you. But like, how would you feel if I started coming up to you? Just, like, did you even ask? Like, did you even ask me? Like, we have to learn things about boundaries in this world. Like, we think in the United States that it's okay for us to just bomb another country because we want their oil or whatever. Like, those are boundaries.
She also turns her back on, like, me at night, like she's mad because we've introduced a rescue dog.
Yes.
So, like, at night now.
She's not turning her back. What she's doing is teaching you about honoring and respecting boundaries. What's your name?
Lynn.
What's your birthday, Lynn?
February 1st.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, there we go. So, this is part of your life lesson. I hope that's okay to say.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, the dog is teaching you about honoring and respecting boundaries, honoring other people's boundaries, honoring your own, and the dog feels as though the dog's boundaries have been invaded. You didn't ask the dog's permission. She was your first dog.
Yes.
Yes, when you adopt a second dog, you don't necessarily have to ask the dog's permission, but you do need to say, hey, we're going to have another dog in the family, just like if you had a baby, and then you were having a second baby, you wouldn't just not tell the first baby you're going to have a little brother or sister, right?
Yeah.
So this is like part of recognition that that animal has a right to, your Jack Russell sees herself, her name,
Nikki. Yes.
Nikki, as a member of the family who was not honored or respected. And by the way, that's part of your own personal life journey. Teacher animal. Did you raise your hand knowing that you had a teacher animal?
Yeah.
Yes, you knew, for sure. Yeah.
Hi, there's a place where I go hiking, and there was some babies that were baby cats. So I got one rescued. I found the mom after evening.
Oh.
So the mom was sick.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Say that one more time. You rescued an animal?
Well, no, I go hiking in a place and I heard the baby crying. So there was a baby.
A dog? Or what?
Kitten. Found somebody to adopt that one. Then I found the mom who was sick and eaten up. And then all of a sudden there was another big baby kitten that I've been kind of bringing some food to. Well, it has a wound. And I bring it food. And I guess the question is, would you too traumatizing to try to catch it, bring it to the vet to get cared for and then bring it back? Or just let nature kind of, I don't know, I'm not getting stable, but I'm also feeling like, I don't know.
Well, I think maybe, will you come down afterwards, because I just want to, I guess probably more time to discuss that we need, but I can help you with it. I just don't think I have enough time left. I want to tell you guys a couple more things, okay? Thank you so much for, I didn't mean to cut you off, but, because with animals in the wild, the one thing I can say is it depends on a lot of factors. That's the thing, okay?